Well, hello again, and welcome back to another edition of Finish Strong Friday. I hope you've had a great week and a great start to August for yourself. I know some of you, uh, in talking with you, have changed Friday to Friday because your day to be for me are really trying to get everything done in your week, Monday through Thursday, so we can kind of take a little bit of time off on Friday afternoon. But hey, if it's Friday for you or Friday, regardless, let's get into it and make it happen for yourself if you still got some things that you need to get done. And then let's take in some more knowledge this afternoon so we can get into really overcoming these obstacles in our life. So we're in session 4. That's the second part of it. And in this session, let me back out of here so that I can get it full screen for you. And I'll take the banner off there. Okay, cool deal. So let's get into overcoming obstacles, session 4, the second half. And we're going to talk about how to handle your fears that are holding you back. And climbing out of fear is a difficult thing sometimes. And hopefully, those of you who were with us on Wednesday, and if you haven't done it, go back and go through Wednesday session again. Because what you want to do is identify some obstacles in your life. And then I guarantee you, when you look at those things, you're going to realize that there was some fear that caused you to not be able to overcome that obstacle. And that's what we're ferreting out this week and getting those things nailed down so that you can be very truthful with yourself and very honest with yourself that you have this fear. And we just need to figure out how to get around it because it is holding you back. So we're going to go through some common things today that you might not be aware of. And let's see if we can't get you rolling here. First one is, realize that fear isn't a good reason to avoid doing something. Fear is just a feeling, and you can get over it, right? I mean, you just let it paralyze you, but you've got to realize that fear really isn't a good reason. Fear is helpful if you're considering doing something physically dangerous. So, I mean, if you're talking about, well, I wonder if we could just jump that cliff there. Well, you might want to fear. That's where the subconscious comes in and says, "Now, hold on a minute, dude." But let's think about this for a second or two anyway, right? And that's what the subconscious is there for, is to help us continue to breathe and continue to stay alive. So a lot of our fears are lodged in our subconscious mind. Because again, the subconscious mind is there to help you to survive. And so, if you had some fears and some things that have come up and it didn't work out right, then all of a sudden your subconscious is remembering those and saying, we tried that once and it really tore you up. That relationship you were in, that just really messed you up. I'm not sure we're ready for another relationship. And it's that fear that's holding you back. But at the end of the day, I got to tell you, fear is simply a feeling. That's all it is. There's really no. The only basis of it is the fact that you went through something and it didn't turn out the way you wanted it to. It wasn't. There wasn't an easy button for me, right? So you had that fear, and that fear was built up. And the longer you let that thing build up in your subconscious, we had old saying for us old folks, you turn a mountain, is it a mountain or a molehill, right? It was a little bitty old molehill, now it's a big old mountain because you let it in and you let it grow. You let that wound fester, and now it's out of control, right? And there's no reason to let fear guide every decision you make. Just do it. Just put your feet in the water. Let's give it a try, right? But just first thing you need to understand is that that fear isn't a good reason. It's just not a good reason for not doing anything because unless, like I said, it's something physical. I mean, I'm not so sure there's some things out there that I would do. I mean, my son's a climber, El Capitan and all this kind of stuff. Well, to me, I don't know that it's fear. It's just, to me, it's like wine. I don't. Physically, I couldn't do it anyway. But it's one of those things where it's like, well, why? But my subconscious might saying, dude, you try that, and it's game over. And so that's a good fear. But again, if it's not a physically challenged thing, something that's really going to put your life in danger, it's just a feeling, and you can get over it. All right, number two, just breathe. Think about the fearful activity and just breathe. Just think about what it is, and just take three deeps, settle in, and your body is unable to maintain a fear reaction for the long term. It's just not. If you will sit back, a lot of folks, one of the biggest things we have issues with in the sales world is making contacts, picking up the dadgum phone, talking to people, going out on cold calls and visiting people. Well, just breathe. Just take it easy. And like I said, especially if you're doing cold calls, you in your car. Just settle yourself down and just breathe and realize that, hey, what's the worst that can happen here? I go in there and they say they're not interested. Okay, I'm still breathing. They didn't take all my money away. They didn't beat me up. They didn't take my car. I'm still okay. So just think about those things and just breathe and go in, take three deeps. And I tell you what, that fear reaction is not going to hang around for the long term. And the more that you do things, the smaller the fear becomes. So number two, just breathe, take it easy. All right, don't get all hyperventilated and out of sorts. All right. Well, there's a psychological technique called flooding, and I told you last week my daughter's a psychologist, and we don't do a lot of that here, but there is a technique called flooding. I love this cartoon by Farside. I don't know if you like Gary Larson or not, but this one is kind of a funny example. Is Professor Gallagher and his controversial technique of simultaneously confronting the fear of heights, snakes, and the dark all at once. So let's talk about flooding a little bit, because flooding is when a person is exposed to their fear without being allowed any reprieve. And probably maybe some of you who've been around for a little bit remember a show called Fear Factor, right? Where they put you in something with a bunch of tarantulas or whatever it is. Well, we're not talking about locking yourself into and putting a bunch of snakes in there with you, whatever it is. But it is just being exposed to the fear without being allowed any reprieve. And so think about the activity that makes you uncomfortable and focus on taking long, deep breaths like we talked before, and notice how you start to feel better. Again, you have to confront those fears. And again, in cold calling or in dating or whatever it is, if you're afraid that you saw a snake in the garden or something, well, just get a snake's gonna go away. It's probably a black snake anyway. Probably just not gonna mess with you. But I mean, just you be careful. But don't lock yourself up because there's a snake outside, right, or whatever it is. But in our world, it's more like just your different fears of people not accepting you or those types of things. But just take three deeps and go out, because you know what? It really don't matter if someone don't accept you. That's their problem, not yours. You're a great person. You're wonderfully, perfectly made. God gave you a lot of gifts and talents that they don't have. So just get out there and find the people that do accept you, that do love you for who you are. But whatever they are, just put yourself out there in it, because I guarantee you, the more you do it, the more you'll sit back and say, I cannot believe I was letting that hold me back all those years. So just get out there, dip your foot in the water, take some deep breaths, and get out there and try a little bit of this flooding. Now, if you need some heavy-duty psychological assistance, that's not what we're for here at A to B for me. But if it's a serious issue, we always want you to go get professional help. But again, this is one of the techniques that has worked. And again, we're not talking about going to extremes and put you in a Shark Tank or something out there. Not like on TV, but dropping you down in the water and put you in a tank with sharks around you or something to get you. Not talking about any of that. We're just talking about going out, do the thing that you felt uncomfortable doing, and just take some deep breaths, and you'll see that you start to feel better about it. All right, number three, make a list of ways that fear is holding you back. Now, we talked about this, what was some of the things that were causing fears. So some part of your life is in complete turmoil, and that's usually caused by fear. It's likely that you made a poor decision in the past, right? And your subconscious is holding on to that. And it's reminding you constantly, we can't do that again because remember when we did that, this happened. You remember that? Yeah, it's out there just to protect you. But how did fear affect your decision making abilities at that time? So let's look at these things. We talked about last week, making lists of the areas that may have been affected, and let's analyze that. Now, here's some of the 7 fears that can hold people back. Some of the common ones is fear of change. It can lead us to miss out on opportunities. We're so set and we're just so afraid of anything different. We talked about job change, not liking your current job, those types of things, but you're afraid to change. Well, I got good benefits and steady paycheck, and but you hate your job. Now, come on now. I mean, it's a trade-off worth it. You should be doing something that you really feel great about. So, but fear of change can lead us to miss out on a bunch of opportunities. It can cause you to miss out on networking events or cold calling, those types of things, or just dating, or whatever it is, right? Fear of loneliness may discourage us from being alone or leaving unhealthy relationships. This is a huge deal, especially for some of you ladies out there. Not saying men don't have this, but it's more common with ladies is you're staying in that unhealthy relationship because you're afraid to be alone. Well, you don't have to be alone. There's someone out there for you that God put on this earth to be your perfect soulmate, right? So you're not going to be alone. But doggone, don't stay in that unhealthy relationship. So fear of loneliness is a big one. Fear of failure. We talk about this all the time. A to B for me, it's ridiculous because you just need to consider that failure is education, and you're always going to be failing forward. But it can prevent us from taking risks. We're in a little comfort zone, and oh man, if I go out there and do that, they're gonna be laughing at me, or man, my wife's gonna know that I didn't make it. My kids gonna realize that I'm not 7 foot tall, and bulletproof. And hey, just go out there and give it a shot. The more that you try and fail, you're just learning the things that don't work. So next time you got those out of your repertoire, right? So next time you know not to do that. So if you keep going left and it ain't working, well, maybe you got to go right. See, give it a shot. Fear of rejection. That's going to stop us from asking worthwhile questions. We're afraid to pipe up. We're afraid to give our opinion because we're afraid that we will be rejected or chastised. Well, no, be you. Just do you. Talk about that all the time. Fear of uncertainty. Well, that can lead us to avoid trying new things. So there's a fear of, again, the future. What's going to happen? I don't. Well, none of us are Nostradamus, right? We don't know what's going to happen, but yeah, we know it's not going to happen if you don't do anything. You get same old, right? So fear of uncertainty is a big thing. Fear of being judged. That can prevent us from being our authentic selves. Again, it kind of goes with uncertainty. We're just afraid to put ourselves out there. Well, I tell you what, you put yourself out there, and all of a sudden you've drawn your line in the sand, and you're going to attract the people that are like you, and that feel the same way you do. And it's amazing how many times you put something out there, and all of a sudden, all these people are like, oh, "Man, I'm glad I feel that way too. I can't believe I hadn't said anything." And just don't be afraid of it. Just go do it. I mean, a lot of times in social media, you don't want to say something, but I tell you what, if sometimes you got to put out there who you are. Again, you have to just do you. Put out there who you are. You don't want to be fake. Get out there, let people know who you are, and get rid of the folks that are messing your world up, and get you that group that's going to help you grow and support you. Fear of losing freedom may cause us to avoid making commitments. I guess it goes back to a relationship thing. Well, just if you're going into relationships, just spell it out, right? I mean, what do you want out of this relationship? A lot of times, folks, we get into relationships just because we're afraid of bringing these things up. I know that back in the day, and this has been a long time, when Jan and I were considering getting married, we went through, some premarital type counseling, right? Who's going to take out the trash? How you feel about that? How you felt this happened? And we went through the whole workbook. I forget how many weeks it was, but we were in love. We were young. Well, everything's going to be perfect, right? But maybe not. And so you uncover those things. And so at least going into that marriage, you had a game plan. You know, or in whatever relationship, you got a game plan. You know, if this happens, this happens. So what is that? That's just planning. That's just, you know, getting it out. And that's probably one of the first times as a couple that we actually made plans. And that plan has lasted now for 44 years. So it was a pretty good plan, I think. So it's worked out. But there are some fears there that are holding you back. So make a list of them, and that'll help you and help us in our strategy sessions. All right, number 4. Remember the times you were fearful and still made a good choice, because you know good choices count. You've likely had times where you felt fear but managed to take the appropriate course of action anyway. In other words, you just took a deep breath, you know, sucked it up and did it anyway, and it worked out. So remind yourself of those times and remember how strong you can be. You know, a lot of times we let our subconscious just take over and turn ourselves into Minnie Mouse instead of Mighty Mouse, and you got it in you. So just go back and remember those times, and you know, and keep it in your memory, and keep your subconscious. That's one of the ways that you keep it at bay. Again, you say, hey, no, remember I did this and overcame that, so this is pretty similar. We can do the same thing here. Then that will help you take this fearful mode and get it out of yourself, because just allow yourself the courage and the strength to realize that good choices count, and get that tally going for yourself so the subconscious will leave you alone a little bit. All right. Well, number 5, practice dealing with discomfort. Oh, you can't be kidding with me. Sometimes you just gotta lean into it. I mean, you got the comfort zone and you got the growth zone, and those are opposed opposites. And if you don't lean into the growth zone, you're never going to grow. So take a situation that you find mildly uncomfortable. Perhaps it's eating peas or talking to an attractive member of the opposite sex, right? I don't know how you put those two together, but uh, you know, it's one of those things that you just have to lean into. And just start by a little bit, right? Now, I would say maybe eating kale might be one of those things that's mildly uncomfortable, or can be boldly uncomfortable, one of the two. But force yourself to deal with small doses of discomfort and increase the level of exposure over time. So, you know, get out there and just maybe you're not making a cold call, but maybe you're just going to go out and just introduce yourself. You're not trying to set up an appointment. You're not trying to do anything. You say, hey, I just want to come by and visit with you. I'm with ABC Corporation, and we do this. And I just want to get by and just meet some of the the folks in the neighborhood, and then next time you go in, then you'll have that relationship, that initial relationship already set, and now you can say, I came in a few weeks, I don't know if you remember or not, but I got to thinking about you, and then you can roll in, but let those small doses of discomfort and then increase them over time. And although it's challenging to give up the habit of avoidance, because that's the easiest one, the subconscious is saying, you know what, it's just a whole hell of a lot easier if we don't even do any of that, because that way we don't have to worry about being upset. We don't have to worry about being frustrated or stressed. Let's just don't do it, right? That's that habit of avoidance. We want to change that habit. You're gonna be surprised at how much you can tolerate if you get out there and get it rolling. Working out is a huge one. Folks. Oh my goodness gracious, I don't want to do. Well, just do something. Just get your clothes on and do a few jumping jacks, or do a few stretches or something, and then the next day do a little bit more, a little bit more. One of the biggest examples in exercise I can see this is just trying to get up to do get your push-ups going or something. Just start out and do 10, and then or 5, and then do 7, and then do 10, and then do 12, and then do 4, and just keep growing. But you got to lean into it, no matter what your fear is. Just lean into it and practice dealing with discomfort. And I tell you what, practice makes perfect. And you'll get out there and you'll realize again that, hey, I cannot believe I let that hold me back all these years. So get in there and let's practice dealing with it. All right. Well, the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. It's a great quote by Joseph Campbell. But number 6, you got to realize that discomfort and fear are frequently good things. Because if you're not doing anything that makes you uncomfortable, your life is likely to stay the same. In other words, you're not growing. It's only when you push your comfort level that new things can begin to happen. And you just have to keep pushing forward. Again, that A to B for me strategy. You got to start out. We got to get our thoughts right. We got to turn those thoughts into action, and get action in our habits, and we get this habit going of going out and trying these things and getting into that, not habit of avoidance, but habit of getting out there and trying things, and being bold, and then your character will develop, and then destiny's right around the corner. But realize that discomfort and fear are frequently good things, because there's always something out there. And I mean, the prize is out there for those who go after it. The prize just sitting out there. No matter what it is in your life, it's out there. It's already out there for you. You just have to go out there and get it. It's kind of like the holy grail of your life. It's out there, but you have to go on the journey. You have to get out there, and you have to do the work, and you have to get to it. But it's out there for you. I guarantee you, whatever it is, it's out there for you. But you just have to realize that anything that makes you uncomfortable, it's likely it's there for you, and it's going to help you grow and get the things that you want out of your life. All right. Well, too many of us are not living our dreams because we're living our fears. And that is so true. We allow fear just to take over, and our dreams fade away. And fear is the most common cause of our challenges in life. You got to learn to work through fear and gain the ability to make positive choices. So you'll boost your self-esteem and enjoy a happier life, because again, if you're faking 7 foot tall and bulletproof, that's not doing you any good. I mean, sooner or later, the rubber's situation where the rubber meets the road. So go ahead and start getting rid of those things now. Start working on yourself. And again, self-development is just the way to do that. But got to get the subconscious on board, and that's only going to happen through your thoughts and through your actions, because you got to get those habit formations done. It's like we talk every Thursday on Thrive Thursday with James Clear. A lot of it is about just habit formation. If you haven't taken that deep dive with us of Atomic Habits, I tell you what, you need to take that one with us. I would say just go ahead and get into deep dive to Destiny or 84 days. But at least if you're having problems in this area, we got to get those habits formed right. So look at Atomic Habits, and let's go through that deep dive together. But learn to embrace discomfort as a positive sign that your life is about to change for the better. It's the way it is in working out or anything else. When you work out and you got a little soreness, that's good. That's growth, right? You're ripping and shredding, and you're growing and you're getting stronger. But that's growing pains are what it's all about in life. And so, if you're having a little discomfort, that just means good things are about to happen. So, the answer, just get started today. Go back and review these things, and let's just get your life rolling in the right direction. All right, well, up next, the next lesson, we're going to provide a way to deal with your challenges quickly and simply. So I know you can't wait for that one. We always like the easy button. Not guarantee it's the easy button, but it's quick and simple. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be easy. So that's going to be next week's Wham and Finish Strong Friday. But first, here's some things to do. Here's what we need to do today for this weekend. Become more adept at dealing with discomfort in your daily life. So get out the journal and let's start looking at these things, what we can do. It can be a little challenging because we're programmed to seek out comfort. It's just in our DNA. We're so quick to respond to any form of discomfort, our ability to withstand it is compromised. So we have to rebuild that ability in yourself. So again, it's habit change, habit formation. Every Wednesday we have those WHAMs, and at the bottom of it is an action and habit tracker. So you want to start working on that, and let's look at the things that were that discomfort in our lives, and let's figure out how to make those things where we just go after them, and soon they will not be discomforts anymore. They'll be comforts, because you're going to start realizing the benefits from those. So work on that habit tracker, and let's start rebuilding that ability in yourself. Now here's a few ways to stimulate your thinking on this. When you have the urge to get something to eat, make yourself wait another 30 minutes. So if you're on a diet plan or your fitness regimen, and you got an urge to eat, just wait 30 minutes and see if it doesn't go away. 30 minutes isn't a long time. I may do some activity or something, but wait and see if you still need that. When you feel like quitting an enjoyable task, persist for another 15 minutes. Just keep on going. And I'm telling you, you're probably 30 minutes, an hour later, you realize you're still doing it, but because you got past that threshold. Have challenging conversations instead of avoiding them. You're going to, it's all just in the practice. Practice makes perfect. So have those conversations and stop avoiding them, and you realize that, hey, I got my opinion out, so that stress level's down. I'm still breathing. I didn't get hit upside the head with a crowbar, so life's good, right? So have those challenging conversations and quit avoiding them. And refuse to engage in your most common avoidance distraction techniques. The cell phone, internet, TV, social media, my goodness, just refuse to engage in those things because, again, distraction inhibits progress. And you know what they are. You know what you do when you don't want to do what you're supposed to do. So you already know what that list is. So just stop doing it. I mean, why? You might have to take some radical things here, right? Put your cell phone away. Disconnect the internet. Take the TV and put it blanket over it, or put it in another room or something. If you just can't avoid it, and you'll realize after you don't have those things and you're getting things done, how silly it was to allow that to distract you and to cause you to avoid things. But try those simple tips there. All right. Well, that's it for us today. Overcoming obstacles, lesson 4 on fear and how to overcome those things. So hopefully you got some things out of that, and we're going to hop back in here real quick with you and say goodbye. But have a great weekend. Go through these things. Take some time this weekend. Put it in your weekly review that you do on Sundays, because I know you're doing that on Sundays, right? And you got to do your weekly review, reflect, plan, execute, get ready for next week. So hopefully you got your Phoenix Journal. If you don't, get up there at a2bforme.com/store and grab you one so that you've got what we're talking about, and you can get all these things aligned for yourself, because we want you to keep moving in the direction of your dreams. And if I can help you out with that, a2bforme.info/15 with Don. I've got sessions here. All the folks that are in overcoming obstacles here, I want to gift you a 15-minute strategy session with you. So hop up there and get that. Just be prepared. There are 4 questions that you're going to be asked, and be prepared to talk. We're going to talk about those in our 15-minute session, so we don't waste any time, and we get to what we need to do to help you move forward. All right. Well, have a great weekend. We've got a big week for you next week, and we got session 5 coming up next week. And we got a big, if you're not doing our weekly challenge, while you're up there getting a journal, go ahead and get there 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, because that's what our weekly challenge is based on every week, and grab you a copy of that as well. But have a great weekend, and we'll